So this is what we have currently, where we know that okay, when we click on a particular name, this option, this bottom sheet will come up. We'll be able to delete from a list, and then we'll have this pop-up, right? And we can click on another one and open it up, and then we'll delete, and it is reflecting. Right now we want to do adding something to the field. Now we want to add, right? So this one we know that is to delete, right? So now we are going to do something unique. Okay, first in the code, let's try to close this long thing, right? We are going back to scaffold. So scaffold contains app bar, and the body is too long now, right? We are going to close it. So we are going here to close it, right? So now we have this space. So let me see, I have this space, let me close it, right? So now this is the simple thing, right? So we have the scaffold, so the app bar, we have the body. Now we want to add another button, the floating action button that we've seen at the beginning of our learning, right? So if you go here, right, and then you want to go to the next line, it's going to distort, it's going to open the column, right? So you close it. Then I'm going to put the cursor at the edge, at the end of the scaffold brackets, and I open this space here. If I open this space here, then I go back to catch up the space here, right? So that I don't end up. So let's put floating action button here, right? So after the body, we have app bar, body, and floating action button. So I'm going to the floating action button, right? That's what we also actually call the floating action button. This one, it needs to come with some unpressed, okay, unpressed function. For now, let's give it a void function, this one, and then let's see the results at the edge. So we want to, when we click on this, we want to see, let's see what comes up. Okay, something comes up like this, right? When you press on it, nothing is showing. Okay, so let's say the child, we want to give it a child. The child is going to be a text, and that text is going to be add. Let's call it add. Okay, so let's see what shows add. So if you click on this add, then what should come? You should see so background color. Let's set the background color. Background color, we are doing colors dot green. I'm just going to do green. Let's see how it shows up on the screen. Okay, there is a click on add. Then yes, so we need to be able to add something, right? When you click on the add button. Now when you click on this, a particular pop-up should come for us to fill in the name and then the message, so that when we click on submit, then it will show here. So when you click on add, a pop-up should come. How do we do that pop-up? That pop-up is going to be called a dialog, right? It's a dialog pop-up. So we are going to do that inside the unpressed, right? So now inside the unpressed, because you remember when we're doing for column, when we're doing the delay, we have the on tap or on press. These are the one that take function. This is what we did for bottom sheet. We say show modal bottom sheet, and then it comes with context, it comes with builder, right? So stuff like that, those things that pop up, this is how they come. They usually come with context and all that. So we are going to see similar thing for this. Let me, I'm close the body again, right? So I focus on the floating action button. So here we are going to say show dialog. Yes, so this is show dialog, right? So it's come with context as well. Let me close it, semicolon, because you are inside a function, you need to enter semicolon. So you have context, it comes with context, and it comes with builder as well, right? For the builder, let's put this in on the next line, and then for the builder, you know there's a bracket that is context, and then inside it we have a curly bracket that should return something, right? So now there are two things that possible thing to return here, either a raw dialog or alert dialog. We're going to start with alert dialog. So alert dialog comes with some pre-built positioning of items, right? So you have alert dialog. Alert dialog is this one, right? This is what comes. So if you just do raw dialog, you have to do everything on yourself. But if you are using AlertDialog helps you where to put the title, where to put the actions or the buttons that will submit and all that. All those things have been configured if you're using AlertDialog. You can also equally return dialog, just raw dialog. This raw dialog, the pre-built title position and then action built position will not be given to you. You have to write everything from scratch. So if you are showing a dialog, you have to choose. So alert dialog is for speed. It gives you some of the pre-built position of items in the dialog, right? So some of the pre-built position, one of them is title, right? So the title is going to be a widget, and then we're going to say that add new chat. Add new chat. So this is just going to be a title, and then after the title, the dialog is going to have a content. So a content can be anything, right? Let's enter a test widget. Let's enter a test widget that says field I am a dialog box. Simple like that, right? Let's see how this thing comes up. Okay, we have content, right? We have title, right? So let me put comment there. So we have title, then we have content, then after the content we have something called actions. These are the buttons that will show at the end. So actions is going to be a list of items. All right, so this one is going to take a list of items, right? So let's say a list of widgets. So let's say a test widget that says submit. So action 1, another one says another test that says action 2. Okay, so you can add as many actions as you want. Let me add another one, text action 3. So these are the various actions that may take place on this thing. So there are various portions of the alert dialog, right? Alert dialog should have a title. It should have the actual content, what is going to be inside the entire box, and then the key action that will be at the end of the dialog box. First, let's see the dialog box itself coming up. So run it. So because it is on press of the heart, when you click on it, you should see this. You see, we have action 1, action 2, action 3. We have add new chat. This is the title, and this is the content, where the content will be, and the bottom here are where you are going to take various actions like close, like cancel, submit, or whatever, or clear, whatever you want to use. Okay, so but this is very long, not really responsive, right? Okay, so now we are going to go back to, so we know where the title is. The title will put that in here, and the action will put that in here, and the content will be in the middle. This is when you are using alert dialog. If you just use raw dialog, we'll use it in the next section. If you use raw dialog, you have to like decide where to put this time, these kind of things. But title and all that becomes your own, become easy to use quickly if you're using alert dialog. That will be the difference, right? We'll look at dialog, but let's master the simple one, the one that is fast to use, right? So we have a title. So at the title, I'm putting a new chat there, and then in the content, I'm putting here this one here, and then the actions will be the one. So I'm going to the content, right? That's where most of the things will. So let's go to the content. Instead of centering a text field, the content we are instead rather going to return a column. Let's use a column. Column. Why are we using column? Because we want to work with so the column comes with children, right? And then why are we going to be using column? Because we want to have a text field. When you click on add, we need to have a space for the name of the person and the message that we want to add. So they are going to be text fields, right? So first we have to name text field, right? So let's say text field, text field one, the first one. Let me, this is the message text field. um, let's add the next text field. Yeah, so we have these two name text, right? The time will automate the time immediately. Why am I doing that? Because we want to add to this list here, and then the list has come with a name. We have a name and we have the message. The time will automate it. The moment we put it, we want it to add the current time. Right now the focus should be let the focus be on um, building the dialog box first, right? Okay, now let's refresh and see what we have right now. Let me click on it again. So we have these two text fields, but this is too long, right? We want the column to adjust to the content, right? To adjust to the content, not to take the almost the whole screen. So what we need to do, like we need to change the column to main axis size. So right, we are going to say main axis size dot minimum. So it will make it to adjust, right? The column will adjust so that it will grow with the content. It will grow with the content instead, right? So let's close this and open it again. Now it's nicely done, so the pop-up shows in the middle nicely, right? So we have the first one, test field, test field 2, but then we can do better. We've learned the test field already. Okay, so since we work with test field already, we need to go and do inside the test field 1. We are going to have decoration. Remember, we work with test field already, right? So input decoration, right? Inside the input decoration, we decided to add border. Border is outline input decoration. This one we've done them before. Then we need a label, right? The label is going to be a text widget, and then that label is going to say name. Should we add a hint text? Let's add a hint text. Hint text is not going to, is going to be raw string. The hint text is going to be name, add name. So example, Kwame Junior, right? Kwame Junior. That's the hint text that we are adding there. Don't want to rewrite those, so I'm going to copy this and put it inside the second message field for test. So the name here, we are going to say message example, come home, come now. There's an example, right? So let's see how it comes out. All right, so yeah, so we have a name, right? Then we have a message. There's no space between them, so I would like to add a space between the text field. It's not looking nice. So sometimes this is how you be, like, don't be a hardcore developer, be able to be distinct to. So space, so we are going to say size box. We use height of, let's say, 5. I don't know, unless I see it, then I will adjust accordingly. Let's see, 5. Okay, quite good, quite good. You can increase that height to see how much space you want. But we've learned a lot about text field itself. So if you want to make more changes, that become part of your own stuff, right? But now the actions. Now let's go to the actions. So the content, we'll be adding name, and we'll be adding how do you call it, the message, right? So what we'll do is that let's go to so what are we saying we are going to do? Let me see. Okay, the actions. So let's go to the actions. Yeah, we are going to wrap this one with text button. So wrap with text button, right? Okay, let me. Let's it's going. It should, they should be buttons. Those actions should be buttons, right? So you text button, right? You make sure that they are buttons, basically, right? So this one is okay. Then I'll open it for the text button and say on press. It comes with an on press. So when you press on that button, what should happen? You need to come with a child. A child is going to be a text that shows a message which is this first one, let's say submit, right? Okay, so let's call this one submit button, right? um the next one is going to be cancel button. So I'm copying this. Let me just copy this and then copy for the cancel button b, and then this one, let's change it from submit to cancel, right? So cancel also comes that way. Let me put it this way. I like arranging my stuff like this. All right, so we have these two now, right? So let's refresh. See it. So we have, you see, submit and cancel, submit and cancel. So when you click on submit, whatever is inside here should be sent to um so submit here, right? And cancel. So whenever we have submit, whatever we have inside, we should be able to add it to this list that we have here. Okay, so with that in mind, what do I need? What do I need? I think this is done. This is okay. That is okay. Now we need to work on the submitting. So, but then before that, this thing should be able to. We need to prepare this thing to be actually be taking actual text, right? So that will bring us back to our knowledge with text field. So for the name, we need to be able to collect the name somewhere. So we'll need a controller, right? So I'm going to say this is going to be name controller. I'll add it at the top. It's not yet added. That's why it's showing that error. And I'm going to this is test field controller, right? Um, mm, let's say another controller for the. So you're going to say message controller. We've learned this already, so we've taken time to understand test field itself. So this one we are just going to basically implement it. We are going to our field on top of the building. So to do test field controllers. This one will not show anything on the screen, but we know that we need to prepare this thing. So what controller do we need to have? We said final test field test controller, uh, test field. Uh, oh, it's test editing controller. It's test editing controller. And then the first one is name controller, right? Is equal to text editing controller. Right. The next one, let's copy this and paste it. This is after the text editing controller, we also call the message controller. They are also part, but we will need to actually dispose them. So where is our dispose function? This is where initiate, right? So we haven't used any dispose yet. Oh, okay. I think we have so there's no dispose here. So let's write our dispose function. So at override um void dispose So we are going to have super.dispose. So that will be the last thing, but then we need to do name controller.dispose, and then message controller.dispose as well. Okay, so that we can dispose them at the end. We explained these things already. Okay, they are nicely disposed, so we need to go back to, so they are ready now, so we know that there will be some controllers and whatever.